Hey guys, so Hero RR is in the garage, and today we are going to be installing the long-awaited Helibars. So before we get started, I just wanted to show you guys a before and after. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I do want to let you guys know that you will need to do two things that will be modified on your VFR. Me personally, I hate modifying things, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You have a tab right here that needs to be Dremelled off, and you have a tab over here that needs to be Dremelled off. Now you can avoid Dremelling them off if you want to disconnect the hoses and bleed the brake and the clutch. Me personally, I'll Dremel them off. You don't need them anyway. Not a big deal. Secondly, I want to mention that if you get brand new Helibars, inside there will be no weight. You'll have to remove the weights from your existing bars and transport them to the Helibars. I bought my Helibars used on eBay. I think they cost me 180 bucks. And because of that, they've already been done for me. So that is one headache I will not have to deal with that you might. There's a bunch of good videos on YouTube, and I will link one in the description for you to check out that will show you how to do it. Next, let's look at the directions real quick before we get too far. Let's look at what you're gaining. 1 1/4 inch taller and 1 1/2 inch more rearward, which means that the bars are gonna move up and over. And of course, I was able to get these directions despite me buying it used at their website. If you want to get directions and you want to print them out like I did and follow the directions, go ahead. There'll be a link in the description for you to check that out as well.
First step, Dremel the tabs off. Using a metal cutting wheel, cut most of the way through, then using a flathead screwdriver, pry off the piece. Link to buy the Dremel I'm using in the description. It was $20. Next, remove the bar ends. On a stock VFR, this will require a JIS screwdriver. Next, remove the two 8mm bolts holding on the clutch assembly. Now would be a good time to remove the grip. Just pull and twist. Some heat may be required to help loosen the glue. Now, using the JIS screwdriver, you can remove the switch assembly. Next, we will remove the handlebar, but first remember to remove the safety clamp. It just pops right off. After that, you can remove the bolt and slide the handlebar off. Now we can put the Helibar on. Install the bolts by hand. Now reinstall everything that was removed. Start with the switch assembly and then the clutch assembly. This part is very important. We need to loosen the clutch line. We only want to loosen it just enough to rotate it upwards. If you loosen it too much, and then air will get into the system and then you'll have to bleed the lines. Now after that, you can slide the new grip on. A bottle of water will help. Also remember that twisting the grip is a good strategy to help slide it on. Finally, you can reinstall the bar end and then you're done. Here's some comparisons of the stock versus Helibar, and makes a big difference, huh? Now the throttle side. Start by removing the bar end. Now you can remove the front brake assembly, which is two 8mm bolts. After that, you can loosen the throttle assembly, but don't remove it. I read online that you can actually slide the whole thing off as one unit without removing the cables. Once it is loose, you can remove the stock bar and safety clamp. Once the bar is off of the bike, you should be able to slide the whole thing off easily. If you're still having trouble, then you may just have to remove the cables like I did, but you shouldn't have to. Now you can install the Helibar. If you did slide the whole assembly off, then this would be the time to slide it back on before putting it onto the bike. After that, you can reinstall the brake assembly. We have to angle the brake line the same way we did the clutch line. After, you should be able to slide the throttle assembly back on if you didn't do it earlier, and reinstall the bar end. Finally, check your work by moving the bars lock to lock. Make sure that they clear the tank and bodywork. And finally, you can torque everything down and you should be ready to ride. Thanks for watching.